was weird. Yeah, my bad. YouTube took a shit, and I had to completely start a whole new live session. I don't know what happened. What's up, Patrick?
What up, man? Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Cool.
What you? Uh,
Nothing much, man. Just been smoking all day, chilling.
Shit.
It's almost my bedtime. I'm flying out to Costa Rica tomorrow. Something came up kind of last minute, so me and Orlando are going out there.
Costa Rica. That's different. You have to tell me all
Yeah.
about that. Costa Rica.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's on some hemp shit, some pharma extracts, manufacturing. I'll tell you all about it.
Dope. Yeah. That sounds like a whole adventure.
Yeah. We'll see.
Uh, yeah. So let me get.
Yo, can you block people from this live? Can we just remove its show? Just get rid of them, ban them.
Shit. I still don't know what his name is. Coey, Joey.
He's the
That is
choster. The
so
choster.
choke. It just such a
It's
peculiar
short
name.
for chode, chodester.
All right, we're already getting the obligatory type three sells out so fast comments.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? Yeah.
Damn, I lost
What's
all the people that were on here. Uh, he said, "What's the point?"
Pat got it right. Cho. It cho. It's cho.
I need another name for that because that it's Cho. I don't know. That discombobulates my brain. My eyes and my frontal cortex don't want to like align with that. I always want to say Chloe, but there's no L.
Yeah. He should just change his name on Discord to like, I don't know, sarcasm master or something. Sarcasta ball. You remember that episode of fucking South Park?
Me, I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
every single episode of South Park. Yeah, of course.
Sarcasta ball.
Yes,
All right, well,
yeah,
I just loaded up some permanent marker in the fusion. What are you gonna do? You gonna smoke a joint of it?
yeah. So the reason why Patrick from Type Three is joining me right now, despite having a uh, international excursion tomorrow, um, I'm gonna be trying out some of the permanent marker Type One to Type Three conversion right now for the first time. All right, I've been oh God, I've been meaning to out, and I just been putting it off because I wanted to document it publicly. Uh, a lot of people are saying this is Type Three's best. Um, this is best drop so far. Type 3 Anthony, which I'm surprised Anthony's not on here.
Yeah,
Um,
someone tag Anthony in Discord. Toaster, tag Tony. Let him know what's up.
what's up, Brian? I'm gonna just hit it like this.
Yeah, but you were saying before I interrupted, fucking Tony has been super complimentary of the PM um, permanent marker conversion. Um, I like it. I like it a lot, which is not something I say about my own stuff very often, but this is definitely one of my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. People are saying that it's the best thing that you've dropped so far. They're saying it's got the most flavor, everything. Just all the attributes. Obviously, besides the high THC effects, it's got everything besides that. Is what I'm hearing, which is of course.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's just it's a profile now in hemp that we haven't really had before. I started with the original breeding cut of Doja's permanent marker I got from a friend of a friend in the industry. And I grew that type one out, and it was crazy. Like it was crazy day. Probably some of my favorite type one that I've come across lately. And so I spent a few generations crossing that to the Reddit cut, as you know. And every generation I would just select for whatever plants were as close to that original cut of permanent marker. And now we're here. We have a type 3 pheno, CBD dominant, very little THC. And it's very reminiscent of the mom, the original T1 mom.
Yeah, and as far as the type one goes, I haven't personally came across any marker, but I have had some permanent chimera,
Yeah.
which is a cross. So
Well, if you
but
remember, I did that too. I did the permanent chimera, and that's now the permaban. So I did the
uh,
permanent marker and the permanent chimera. Both
okay.
really good. I think the permanent marker was a little bit better.
Yeah, I didn't try the permaban. I don't think so. Um, so here's the permanent marker right here, and me and Patrick were talking like the next generation probably he'll probably put give everything like a unique new name, you know. Um, but for now, they're just labeled as kind of the T1 parent that they originated from to uh, help you distinguish and know exactly what the profile and everything is going for. So
Yeah, in the future, I'll be working with Baz to come up with some dope names. You know, I like naming stuff. I named the Bluesberry. But Shabazz is a classic, strain naming genius. He created Dark Seeker OG and many others from Zoe and all that good stuff. So I'm definitely going to need your help on a lot of these.
so somebody in the chat on Discord had said they said that it's like permanent marker, like literally the smell. Like, let me see, I got a Sharpie right here. All right, we got a Sharpie right here. Okay.
Just squeeze one of the nugs a little bit, so you can really like give it just a little crack. Then you can put it back in the jar. But if you really want to like smell what's going on, you got to rough it up just a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I was just and it smells like permanent, like the permanent marker ink
Yeah.
and Kush. Mm. Yeah, it's okay. So I've been comparing it to R2Z2 a lot, and I better than the R2Z2. However, it is similar. It has that super savory, like, which I guess you could say the smell of permanent marker is kind of, well, no, it's like the smell of permanent marker without like that chemical solvent smell that it has to it, but it's
Yeah.
super savory. It's super gassy, but it's got the super like oniony garlickiness to it. And yes, that's very it's very gassy. It's very gassy.
You really nailed it when you said chemical solvent. I've been looking for a way to describe the permanent marker taste or aroma specifically. I'm always in Discord saying like it's just stanky danky, but the chemical solvent, the solvent base of a permanent marker or any marker is really what sets that specific cut apart from the R2Z2, just like you said. You know, it has that, but it just has the unmistakable, sharp, stanky gas that is, the marker solvent for sure.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those strains where I already wish I had more of. Just
Tony's in
breaking
here.
this down right here. Yeah, this is, as they say, this is zip worthy right here for sure.
Thank you, sir. We got Tony. We got Stickworm Jim. 600 Plant Life. I don't know who that is, but that's a great name.
That's what I was saying. That name, I like
Yeah.
that. All right, I'm
RJ
grinding.
Gaming.
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
What up, man? Melly. Nice. Now we're cooking. Let's go. So what are you doing? You're gonna roll up a joint, stuff a cone, or what up?
Uh, yeah. I'm going to I'm gonna roll a joint. That's kind of like, when I do videos, I always hit the bong. But outside of recording videos, smoking a joint is like my baseline for the flavor. Like, that's what I compare everything to. Is how does it taste, or how does it taste in a joint? And that's any strain.
Tony's gonna load up the fusion. He's got some permanent marker. What up, Nate Dog?
Got the, oh, raw ethereal papers. Those are my favorite papers right there. Raw
Yeah,
ethereal.
someone just asked that too.
We're in the chat.
Yeah, he wanted to know which papers you use.
Oh, stickworm. I'm with you. Clary's archive. You said I prefer blunts, but joints are cool too. Which papers do you use? Yeah, I use, my favorite papers are raw ethereal. Um, But I also after that it would be raw blacks, and then after that it would just be like raw organic hemp papers, and then vibes papers too. Vibes hemp.
We got Merson in here as well. What up, bro? Stickworm Jim wants me to mention his pickle. Classic Stickworm Jim.
All right, I got the this is the Kovacs glass handmade spiral glass tip
Ooh,
from
fancy.
Eugene, Oregon. Yeah.
So how's it smell now that you broke it up, ground some down?
Oh well, that it's interesting right at first when I first broke it down, just that savory gas, that sharp marker savory smell got really strong. But now as it's broken down and I'm rolling this joint, it's getting very sweet.
Hmm.
It's getting very sweet, and it's a kind of sweetness. It's a sweetness that it reminds me of the original batch of OZ Kush from what 2021. And that's what made OZ Kush famous and everything. It's that OZ Kush has never came back. I don't know what they they butchered and ruined that genetic line, but the original OZ Kush generation that made it famous, it had that. It was super gassy and it had that just crazy sweetness to it. And it's weird because nothing in the nugs, nothing at all is sweet whatsoever. It's just my fingers smell sweet. And this is
Yeah.
not a sweet strain by any means.
No, but for me, the Doja cut T1 mom, when you broke her down, there was an element of that old school sweet kush. Like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's like a foundational layer in all of the dank za.
Yeah,
Like all of the real dank fucking exotic shit should have a mysterious layer of like cushy sweetness.
that's
Um,
exactly what it is. It's a bubble sweetness that's
yeah.
it's like a berry candy smell kind of, but it's very specific to yeah, like the Kush line. All right. Yeah, and Melly, yeah, this is my first time trying it. I waited until I could document it.
I'm stoked we got all the homies in here. Melly, Tony, Mosun, Jim.
Uh, bro,
Your mom's got that cushy sweetness. Nice. Got him. Florida Kush for sure. The flower is permanent marker. Uh, Specifically number three, my keeper Pheno. It was a permanent marker conversion. Permanent marker Doja cut. Bred to two generations of the Reddit cut, which is OZ Kush. Thank you, Choster. I'm glad you can finally mellow out and relax after smoking some permanent marker.
Melly, did you have the June plum?
I don't think he actually I don't know. I don't know if he did or not.
Because he's saying this is the most exciting thing since the blueberry. And if he loved blueberry, then I'm surprised he's not mentioning the June plum because the June plum was like blueberry improved.
Frosted Enigma too for me. Did you get any of the Frosted Enigma?
That's the one that took a world trip and showed up like
Uh
2 months later. Oh, what's up, Wade?
oh shit. What's up, man? The DS4 crosses are on their seventh branch. They all look beautiful. Right on, man. Glad to hear it. Can't wait till they start to flower. The moment of truth.
Getting a little oil ring.
Yeah. All right, so walk us through the experience.
It's interesting.
Yeah, take your time.
The
Take a few
taste,
hits.
the taste has some of that Sharpie chemical smell, but
That's
on the
it,
taste.
man. Yeah.
On smell, it's much more savory, but the taste, it's like I don't know what licking a Sharpie would be like, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost like you lick the tip of a Sharpie.
With a little bit of that sweetness that you were mentioning. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with it as well.
Excuse me. It's weird. I was almost expecting like a bit of a cushy taste or something. And no, it's the taste is I'll tell you what, the taste is completely not what I was expecting. Um yeah, it's got kind of yeah, a chemical smell or a chemical taste. That solventy taste. And not in a distillate way.
That's uh that's probably just all the Athena salts that I left in it. I like to spray the Athena salts on the buds all the way up until harvest.
I hope it doesn't hit too hard.
It's don't worry. Don't worry. You're good. You're safe, bro. I've been smoking this shit. If it was hot, you would know for sure. First of all, I
No.
tested it like 100 times because I couldn't even believe it. But I've been smoking the shit nonstop. So you're good. Don't let
I'm
that flavor anxiety hit
No,
too
I'm not.
low.
It's not even about that I'm worried about it being hot. It's just if it's one of those strains that has a real rushy come up, like
Yeah.
some
For
do.
me, not so much. Cho was just talking about how mellow it is. Like for me, it doesn't have that rushy come up because I hate those.
Yeah, yeah. That rushy come up is the worst thing ever because you think you're about to get high, and obviously you never do. But it's just you get anxiety just from that. Oh shit! Here we
Yeah,
go. Like
all bad.
there's a few strains but you know what? That happens a lot to me the first time I smoke a new strain. Just that brand new mix of everything hitting the system.
No, for sure. For sure. Especially, and I've been talking to some of the homies about this, especially because we're getting new, flavor compounds and terpene profiles in different ratios and new compounds altogether that really haven't existed in the hemp world yet, you know? So it can hit a bit different.
I'll be honest. I'll say something though. I do think that with this sort of profile, I do think I prefer the flavor of the R2Z2 a little bit more.
That's yeah, that's crazy. Because
And
I mean,
and
we're
and not
different.
that it has more flavor than this. It's just yeah, this really tastes a lot how a permanent marker smells.
Mm,
That's really like the closest thing I could put together on the taste.
yeah. Hence the name. I'll
Right.
be honest with you though, like, my goal now that we have this profile in hemp, I believe it needs to be amplified significantly, and this is something you talk about all the time when you say, "Oh, this tastes like a watered down version of this or a diluted version of this." The first step in all of these conversions is introducing the profile into our type 3 world, and then by S1ing and F2ing that genetic, going back and really increasing the concentration of that profile. Like, this is good and it's new, but it needs to be 3, 4, 5 times stronger, you know, like it would be on the T1 mom.
It's really good though. I mean, and even before I smoked it, just sitting in the jar on my desk right here, I kept getting whiffs of it. The smell
Yeah,
of it is pungent. It's pungent. It's breaking through the jar, and it's just like it's that kind of thing where I kept looking like, damn, do I have a jar of something open? Because like, why is that? Why am I smelling that over and over and over? And it was just that inside the jar closed. It's got
that's one
such
of
a
the yeah, I mean, that's one of the best, comments I've gotten from even Dro. Dro Nugs was saying, like, he had a pile of the permanent marker ground up and a pile of some other T1, and he said that the permanent marker was just way more noticeable, like, just pungent off-gassing, uh, opposed to the other T1, you know?
right. It's smooth. It's a good smoke. That's a nice smoke. This is definitely one of your new top flavors for sure. I would say
Thank you.
this you're expanding your before saying your top five wouldn't have made sense.
Mm,
Like 2 years ago because all you had was five, but now it's
yeah.
like okay, top five. I put this Dark Seeker R2Z2 Truffle Monkey. How many was that? I don't know. I don't even know. I'm just listing
I think that was
favorites.
like 4 or 5. You're
I'm just
good.
listing off my favorite ones at this point. Oh, and
Yeah.
then the June plum slash blueberry,
Mm,
because that blueberry berry gas flavor is that's in a league of its own. You know what I mean?
I feel you. I got more of that June plum coming, so you wanna try that again?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm almost down to nothing. I'm on my last hit.
So that's on this particular strain, when I do combust it, that's my favorite part. I love when all those oils concentrate at the end and that solvent chemically, permanent marker shit that it has going on really
Okay, let me
concentrates
see
at the end.
if this can focus because you're talking about all the oils and everything.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I think I see it. Little shade of some resin going on.
Focus, but this is a glass spiral tip, and that darkness you see is the
Yeah.
spirals full of resin.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, like
Let me see.
some strains I really don't like smoking the fucking last 25% of a joint. Um, but on this one, it's my favorite part.
Yeah, that's real. That got real greasy. Super sticky. Definitely. Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't think I'm. I don't think. Well, I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody else is surprised. You haven't dropped. I'd say the most not even underwhelming, but the least overwhelming one that I've tried is a frosted enigma, and I can't even say that truly because I didn't get it fresh.
Yeah,
But everything that you've dropped, I mean, it's like I said, when I get your stuff, I'm always like I'm quick just to go smell it because I'm like, oh shit, I gotta see, I gotta see what this is like, and yeah, if you like just a sharp, savory gas with the permanent marker, that's nice. And
thanks,
it's
man.
not it's gas. It's like that smell people like when you pull up to a gas station. I love that smell. That's like one of the best smells when you pull up to a gas station. Just that sharp gasoline smell, not
Yeah,
diesel. It's not
yeah,
that
no,
skunky diesel like from an OG Kush. It's like a gas station gas, and
yeah,
that's what you get on the permanent market. You get just that sharp, savory gas station gas. Uh,
yeah. No, I agree, and I think what you're describing, it's like a foundation of a lot of good exotic T1 these days. And so to finally kind of have access to that in a T3 Fino is something that I'm excited about, but still really wanting to improve on.
Yeah, I think you using this and crossing it to other gassy or diesely strains will create some real crazy profiles. Real.
Yeah,
I can only imagine. You know.
I mean, yeah, I think we talked about this, but I did cross it to everything. So I crossed it to the Truffle Monkey #7 that you just got as well. So those will be meeting up. Um, Talking about gas and diesel, I crossed this to AJ's sour diesel cut, you know. Um, that's something I haven't talked a lot about. Like Tony just said, I crossed it to the Zope. I mean, I crossed it to so many things. I crossed it to like 20 different T1 cuts that Trust just gave me, you know. So like you had suggested, I'm using it as my #1 pollen donor now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong because even if you know, I know a lot of your focus has been on creating conversions.
Hmm.
Even if the end stable T3 isn't like a true, it doesn't replicate the T1 super well, it's gonna be
Yeah.
fine no matter what. It's gonna be crazy, and so yeah, using this permanent marker as a dad to a bunch of other lineages, you can't go wrong because, like I said, at the end of the day, conversion or not, you're creating new and you're creating a lot of unique stuff. Like in the T1 world, you could go to different countries and different regions of the world and find cannabis with profiles of just the craziest things. It's like here in America, we're spoiled with like this, like we all everybody smokes the same type of weed. So we all have the same idea of what weed smells like, and your Jacks and Hazes and OGs and Cushes and Runts Crosses and stuff like that, and your cakes. but it's like there's cannabis literally comes in every single scent.
for
And
sure.
and in the T1 world, yeah, you if you look hard enough, you could find some really unique scents. And in the T3 world, my point is, I'm rambling. My point is in the T3 world, we don't have anything really unique. Everything is just this mix of like you got just a few lines.
Hmm.
You got the Oregon CBD stuff. You got the terpenoline hag stuff. You got the Bubba Cushes from Zoe and the lemon octanes, and then like the older advocates. Like, but everything these days is kind of just a mix of all of that thrown together.
Yeah.
And the
And that
stuff you're
was the
coming up
problem.
with, yeah, and the
That
stuff you're
was the
coming up
problem.
with is actually introducing for example, the truffle monkey. The truffle monkey had the tip assist smell. I'd never smelled that in hemp before. This has that what it has. Never smelled that
Yeah.
in type 3 before. Even the blueberry. The blueberry brought
For
that
sure.
classic blueberry cushiness that we did not have. People have
Yeah.
tried it because there was the blueberry cough drops, the blueberry muffins T3, which was probably the original blueberry muffins T3 Flow Gardens had back in like 2021 or 2022 was the closest thing to a T1 blueberry before you drop the blueberry.
Yeah. I mean, this was the ultimate goal. This was my personal goal, solely, was to just do that. Bring these profiles, these new profiles into the T3 world. It wasn't to stay in stock, all the time. It wasn't to be the best fucking vendor with 50% off, like all I wanted to do was what we talked about, and it was get these profiles into T3 phenos that we could smoke. And if I like stop tomorrow, growing hemp or being a vendor, um, that's the only thing I really cared about, is just introducing these lineages, those profiles, and then letting the rest of everyone continue it, you know? Cowden's, breeding, anyone who's breeding, just letting them run with it, you know, now that we have access to this side of the gene pools.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you've already been successful, but I already know that when these crosses come out, like just for example, just something real like not super exotic, but the Dark Seeker OG crosses this permanent marker.
Mhm.
I just think about that kind of Skywalker esque earthy sweet diesel that the Dark Seeker has, combined with this sharp, kind of chemically savory gas, and that's going to create something totally new. You know what I did have a revelation about though, right? So damn. Oh, in T1, these new modern hybrid strains and everything that people are smoking that has just that crazy cologne gas,
Mhm.
right? That we always talk about, just that crazy cologne. I realized what creates that cologne, that didn't come from any particular lineage, right? Because it's like the that didn't come from that didn't come from the Kushes, that didn't come from the Diesels, that didn't come from the Chems, it didn't come from the Hazes, the Jacks, whatever. That cologne scent is literally the combination of like five or six different gassy strains. And
100%.
at the end, once that pyramid is built and
Mhm.
that final child, in the tree comes out, all of the combinations of those four or five different gas and diesels express themselves as like Arab jewelry store owner cologne.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, it was, you're absolutely right. It didn't come from any one place. It was the culmination of like the best three or four hitting together at a ratio that was just perfect. And you see it like as the foundational lineage in all of today's moderns are, like the Sunset Sherbert, the Skittles, like all that shit. It's all in that era.
I think you're not far off from creating something that's going to be similar to Skittles without even touching the original T1 genetics. I think just eventually you're going to end up throwing together the Truffle Monkey and like Blueberry and the Permanent Marker and the Dark Seeker and like let's just say you did Truffle. What I say?
You
The Blueberry
said
and the Truffle Monkey. Like
yeah, I
let's
think
say
you said permanent marker to Darkseeker OG, maybe?
okay, so let's say you take that cross and you cross that you take that cross and you take the child of that cross and you cross it with say Truffle Monkey and Blueberry and you take those two kids and put them together, you might get something that's just got such a crazy gassy fruity profile that some of those phenols are going to have that straight gassy Skittles smell.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong at all. And that was the most important part about doing all this breeding work is just having access to those profiles and lineages to be able to do exactly what you're talking about, to recreate that moment where the four, perfect profiles merged together and created that Persian, cologne that you're talking about. Now we have the ability to do that in the hemp world, with the introduction of these profiles, you know, and that's what it was always about.
Right, right. Um, and yeah, you had to. And I'm Brian. He mentioned that Skittles is in the permanent marker genetics, and that really got me thinking. And so I'm on Leafly right now, and permanent marker is quite the. It's crazy.
Genetic powerhouse, bro.
Yeah, but when you look at the genetics, nothing about any of the genetics would like you would think would create something like this.
Yeah, it was a unicorn
It's
for sure.
its entire lineage is sweet dessert strains on both sides. It's just straight up. Well, okay, yeah.
What is the original permanent marker again? It's like the biscotti with the sherbet back cross.
It's biscotti. Yeah, biscotti by sherbet back cross by jealousy.
Yeah.
So your biscotti, sherbet, and then jealousy. And jealousy itself is a sherbet back cross and gelato
Hmm.
41. Gelato 41 is sunset sherbet and thin mint cookies. Thin mint cookies obviously is Girl Scout cookies. Sunset sherbet is Girl Scout cookies and pink panties. And then finally you start to go back to land race once you get past like the great grandparents. But it's just crazy because it's parents, grandparents, great grandparents are all these like sweet,
Dessert,
desserty
sweet.
ass strains.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's the power of genetics and genomes themselves holding on to shit that is like way back and it being able to pop up, you know, 5, 6, 10 generations later in a completely different form, too.
right. Yeah, that's crazy. So I mean, moral of the story is that once you have good genetics as a foundation and you start crossing good genetics together, the possibilities are endless. You could come up with all different types of shit.
That's it,
And
man.
And that's what I think. Yeah, you were talking about just setting that basis, build the standard of like bringing in these new profiles and flavors. Just, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah, it really is though, because like as much as I enjoy this, I realize how flawed it is and how early in development it is, and how much we can improve it. You know.
Right. Yeah. We're what people don't realize too is like people have been breeding these modern marijuana strains for
Decades.
decades. People have been breeding type 3 like steadily for like 5 or 6 years, maybe 7 or 8 at the most for some of the older, older ones.
Yeah.
But less than a decade is a point. So there's a lot of catching up to do. Now, of course, because of the information that we have, learning from that decades of marijuana breeding, and that we have all that information, and then also we have much better technology. We've accomplished in these 7 or 8 years what probably took 20 years in the marijuana world. So
Yeah,
we need another, you know, 5 or 6 years, and I think we'll be there.
I think so, man. I think so. And like you said, we've come a far way in a short amount of time. And it is also because we had the incredible foundation of that T1 development. You know, T1 being so developed, now I can cross, even an industrial hemp strain to a T1 mom. And in a few generations, if I do my pheno hunting right, that T1 mom is so genetically developed that it's going to give us some pretty dank, phenos like you're smoking on right now, you know?
Right. Something I've been working on too. I'm still on the hunt for some good Mexican swag, dude. I'm still on the hunt for it because that is still we that has to happen. It has to be a thing. Uh it's
Ma-
mandatory.
Imagine how far we've come, that you just said, I've been on the hunt for some Mexican red.
Right.
Like back when we were kids, or at least when I was a kid, like that's all there was, you know? I was
No,
just
yeah.
talking to someone the other day, and they were like, I don't even really know what a seed looks like. Like, what am I looking for a seed in these bugs? And I'm just like, damn, the privilege of coming up, outside post brickweed era.
No, yeah, yeah. When I was in school, and even for some time after, when I was like all the way up until I was like 19 or 20, I used to buy $5 and $10 sacks of what I've said out here. We call it stress. That's what the word is for swag or Reggie is stress. And I used to buy $5 and $10 baggies. They come in the little square bags, and they stuff like as much, like a whole gram in there in this little bag. And yeah, it was chock full of seeds. It was it was compressed together and everything, and it was a bunch of stems in there, and it was. But you know what? That shit was a lot of times that shit was great. It didn't look exotic, it didn't taste exotic, but a lot of that shit was like got you high as fuck, you know. And anyway, yeah. But like you said, it's crazy now. I can't find it. I live in LA, and no, Tony, he said, didn't I find it?
Yeah.
And what I found, it kept testing as CBD. So, back to the drawing board. So I'm still on the hunt. Nobody out here smokes that shit anymore. You know what I mean? I feel like if I went to Florida or New York, I'd be better off. You know?
I wonder how much of it they're still growing because, the genetics down there have probably come a long way and they're probably actively in the fields pooling all males, because if we're talking about profit margins, like, you send someone
There's,
out there to pool males and
they still grow a lot in Mexico. It's just it's not really coming to California anymore. And if it does, it's passing through to go up to like the Dakotas and the Midwest and to the South. Um, so like, there's not really anybody here that's just like, yeah, like I've talked to people and they're like, yeah, I could get a pound of stress for like $100, but it's like nothing ever like comes through. Like I'm trying to find somebody that's just got like a $10 sack of some stress, and um, it's hard to find. It's hard to find. I've smelled it a couple times and couldn't identify the source, um, but nobody
yeah,
really.
because they were probably hiding. No one wants to be found smoking stress these days.
Yeah, it's crazy how hard it is to find. But I really want to because I really want to get. I used to grow them bag seeds, and like it, all of that. The Mexican stress. It could be. There's not really any one strain, but the point is that most of that originated from a bunch of Mexican and South American landrace strains
Yeah.
that have all been just you know bred together in fields, and then the seeds are tossed out again the next season and everything. So it's all this like just that just it when you grow it, when you take a bag seed from some Mexican, some Reggie, and you grow it, the plants are going to be, and I grew a ton of them. They're all
Fan.
super bright green,
Yeah.
super bright green with like the super orange pistils, and they just have that sour lemon lime diesel weed smell.
Yeah, I mean, I just got a flashback. That was my first crop when I was 13. Just popping the fucking brick seeds. And I couldn't even believe how fucking bright green those buds were. Like just fluorescent green and orange. It was
Yep,
crazy.
super sticky, just yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to get some of that. Literally, I call it like a Mexican sour diesel. When you grow it outright, it's like a Mexican sour diesel. But I want to get that over to you, and you break that down and cross it with the permanent marker or
Yeah.
whatever. Probably, actually, this probably would be a good cross for that.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask you, like, what would you want that pollen donor to be? Would it be
Yeah.
permanent marker or would it be dark seeker? Like,
Oh, no, 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 no. No, it for sure be the permanent marker, because a permanent marker has that sharp gas, and I think if combined with the genetics of that, and you get that kind of sour diesel-ish, more deeper diesel. I think that would be a good cross. Yeah,
shit. Well, you already know I'm down. We just got to find it. You trying
yeah.
to get anyone else in here tonight? Like anyone from Discord
No,
or no?
no, no, no. But no, I really came on here to hit this permanent marker with you and talk about it a little bit. I wasn't going to be on for super long tonight.
And we already killed an hour
Right,
just
right.
like that.
Um, Coming back to the permanent marker though, just on the review,
Mhm.
the effects definitely did end up being real nice and mellow. I was concerned that it was going to be rushy, and no, it ended up. I'm chilling. Um, I'm chilling. So a real nice T3.
Yeah, I like it because as you can see, I probably loaded up like 3 or 4 bowls in the fusion and I can puff this shit all day long. I'm super THC sensitive, as you know, and everything stays super mellow, super chill, which is what I look for in a T3 phenom. I want something that tastes really good that I could smoke all day if I wanted to.
Yeah, I like that too. I like because the occasional more racy or the occasional more heavy hitting strain is cool for some times and occasions, but having something that's just you can just hit it all day
Yeah.
and it's got a good smell and taste on it and everything. That's that's harder to find. And the hell is that? And yeah, I like it. I like the effects. It reminds me of an OZ Kush, but a little bit stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's got that little bit of CBG in there, you know. Well, shit, dude. I mean, it's almost my bedtime. I got an international flight tomorrow, so I should probably peace out, and you should hang out a little bit and talk to the community because we've been bullshitting this whole time, and you know, I'm
I'm
sure
sure
these
they're
guys have
enjoying it.
questions and comments for you.
Right. No, I'm sure they're enjoying it. But no, yeah, get all your stuff packed and all that. Um,
I'll send you my flight number as usual.
all
Anyone
right.
anyone knows, Shabazz is a big aviation fan. He can track flights and all that good stuff. So anytime I hop on a plane, I always send him my flight number, and so he can be the first one to tell you guys if it fucking goes down in a spiral.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
no,
So
but yeah, dude. Yeah, safe travels for you in
thank you.
Orlando. How long you gonna be down there?
Just like 3 or 4 days is all that's planned right now, unless it's really nice and I like it, then I might stay a little bit longer. But I'm trying to get back here. I didn't even really want to go down there because I'm just trying to get everything trimmed up and gone, so I can go to Japan. Um, but gotta go.
Right. All right. Well, dude, have a good trip.
Thank you,
Costa
man.
Rica is a pretty safe country for Americans, so I'm not concerned about just don't fall in love while you're down there. That's probably the biggest risk. That's the biggest risk
Never,
with Costa Rica.
never, not a
uh,
chance.
but yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah, have a yeah.
Thank
Be
you.
safe. Make sure
Thank you,
you.
man. Thank you for smoking the permanent marker with me. I appreciate that. You already know when I drop something new. Um, the first time I ever dropped anything, my goal was to get it in Shabazz's hands and just have someone to share it with on that real connoisseur level. And now that's grown to an even bigger community with a lot of you guys in here tonight. And just thank you for being a part of it and making this shit fun. I appreciate everyone, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, man.
All
Ugh.
right, bro.
All right.
You have a good night.
You too. Yeah, permanent marker was real nice. I still have the flavor. I still have the flavor kind of in the back of my throat mouth area. Um, that's a good one. Yeah, the flavor's crazy. The flavor is like it's like if you dilute the smell of permanent marker, like if you dilute that in water and add some gassiness to it, it's kind of what the flavor is like. Uh, what's up, Cerebus? Oh, Just Row TV. What's up? Shout out to Chirac. Um, 773. Shout out. Yeah, I'm feeling cool. Like I said, the effects on that permanent marker are they're cool. It's not too rushy or anything. If you are looking for something of high quality hemp, I'm gonna suggest you this. I ordered from them many times. They're really good and very affordable. I'll say this, right, and this isn't me gloating or anything, but I highly doubt that there's anything that's really high quality out there that I don't know about. But if there was, I want to hear about it. Watch this dude pop up with some THCA. How's everybody feeling the THCA content though? Like I said, Tony said to me, my channel is not gonna like switch over to THCA or whatever. But I am gonna be doing some THCA content mixed in. Um, the big reason is that everybody that's on YouTube, anybody that's super interested, that's already into CBD flower and type 3 cannabis, they already either they know, they're aware of my channel, or they watch me. And I feel like I've really drained that pool already. I'm just sitting here making videos and speaking to the same people for months and months on end. And so if I start making content about other chemo types of cannabis and just cannabis in general, not just focused on CBD and hemp, I can start tapping into the general cannabis community a little bit more. And so let's just say I get over the next few months, let's say I get 1,000 new I do 10 THCA videos. I get 500 new subscribers from those THCA videos. Those people, either they weren't interested in hemp or CBD flower previously, or they didn't even know what it was. And so any new community and demographic and part of the cannabis community I can tap into, at the end of the day, is better for the hemp community. Yeah, exactly. The problem has been is that there's okay. The problem has been that um, there hasn't been enough exposure of CBD into the broader cannabis community. It's like people kind of have to either stumble across it on accident or looking deliberately for it, like I was. I searched for this for years and years and years. So if you're not searching for it and you don't happen to accidentally stumble across it, you're just never going to know it's a thing. And so if I can get more people from the broader cannabis community learning about, they might come to my channel to hear about some 30% um, butt fuck runts, whatever. But they're going to also see notifications and happen to, the video is going to autoplay. They're going to watch it on their TV or something. It's going to autoplay to the next video, which is going to be about some CBD flower. And then they're going to be like, what the fuck is that? Like that shit looks good. I thought hemp was like fiber rope, like an industrial plant. Like they're smoking it, and then suddenly they get curious about it, and they learn about it. And so I'm trying to create that chain reaction. And Felix said, Will you be exploring other cannabinoids such as T? That is all right. She's asking about HHC, Delta 10, THCO, all that. All of that. Um, is from back in like 2023, 2022. I did a lot of content on that stuff years ago, and I will not be doing any more content on that. For just not a lot of people use that stuff anymore. Is that's I'd rather, if I had to choose, are you going to promote THCA flower, or are you going to go promote like HHC and Delta 8 again? It's going to be the THCA. The basement distilled alternative cannabinoids is that's just no, that should have really never have been a thing. Not all of them, because I'm glad that with legalization, more research came out and people realize, hey, there's a bunch of these other cannabinoids in cannabis that are useful besides just THC. But a lot of these, for example, I'll just say really quick, the THCO, anything with a O at the end, um, that's that's toxic. It's literally bad for you. Anything O at the end is an acetate, and ingesting acetates into our body, acetate is basically a poison. So anything O, HHCO, THCO, any of that, don't mess with that. Yeah, cerebus, exactly. So that's what I'm gonna be trying to do. So I'm gonna use the I don't think THCA has that much longer left, and I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. Nothing could be done about it. In 5 years down the line, they just like deschedule it, and it was just technically legal that whole time or whatever. Even though THCA is not technically legal by the Farm Bill, the only reason THCA is technically legal is because there's no efforts to there's almost no efforts on the part of like the government or law enforcement to stop it. So kind of what we're in right now is kind of like in Amsterdam. So like in Amsterdam, marijuana is not legal. It's just nobody does anything about it. So it's just openly sold. Technically, it's not legal though, and I feel like that's where we're at right now. Um, THCA is not legal. People try to say, "Oh yeah, it's less than zero point 0.3 delta 9." That's bullshit. All right, they don't. When you test it, all that THCA is going to decarb into D9, whatever. There's no argument that it's legal because of the farm bill. The only reason it's legal is it's legal by proxy because of a lack of enforcement. Anyways, my whole point is I think there's a chance that that could change like a year or two from now. If not, then we'll see. But if I could farm some viewers and some subscribers and bring them into our hemp world with that THC while it is like legal by proxy, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. No, Jesse, no. The THCA is just completely free for all. I have no idea who Tim Hill is talking about. He's saying that it's a company out of Portland, Oregon. I don't know of any hemp companies that are out of Portland, Oregon. Well, I know of one that are outside of Portland. I forget what their name is. It's like Sun something Organics or something. But then he said points, like loyalty points, and that's like I have no idea. I don't know if that company I'm thinking of has like a loyalty. I don't even remember what they're called. Tim, I wish you would just say the name because nobody has any idea what you're talking about. Speaking of Oregon, though, I'm about to take one of these good vibes gummies. These things really do taste fire. This is the strawberry kiwi. I'm trying to read what's going on in the comments. Jesse said I had a bong load of Boombox Crush. Oh, that's from Holy City. I'm curious as to what those new Holy City strains are looking like. Um, I don't think I doubt that any of them are really gassy. The only two gassy strains Holy City ever dropped was the strawberry abacus. Was it? Yeah, the strawberry abacus and the cosmic cake. That's the only two gassy dank strains that Holy City ever dropped. Oh, yo, this Tim dude was talking about Tweedle Farms this whole time. You know what? And here's the thing, right? Tweedle, I don't think Tweedle has ever done anything wrong to anybody. I don't think they've ever lied about anything. I don't think they've ever stolen anybody's credit card information. I don't think Tweedle has ever disparaged anybody online. Tweedle has just always had very not sexy flower. That's a problem with Tweedle. Is that they always got the low quality stuff. I know if I go on Tweedle right now on the website, I'm gonna get a blast from the past advertisement for some Hawaiian Haze and Super Sour Space Candy. Yes, she said my first CBD flower was not damn. Now I feel bad for you, right? Because we all started off as our first CBD flower being a lot of it. A lot of us got from Tweedle Farms. Back then, it was Tweedle Farms, Fields of Hemp, CBD Hemp Direct, Starseed Botanicals, and a couple of other ones. There weren't a lot of options, so we all kind of started off. I don't even remember what the first strain I smoked ever was of CBD flower. It was like I know for sure it was an Oregon CBD strain though, 100%. It was like pine berry or Electra, some shit like that. But Lifter was one of the very first hemp strains I ever smoked. You know what's crazy too is that I feel like the Oregon CBD back then hit different. It hit different somehow, but I think that that was just like a bias because suddenly I went from searching for years at different dispensaries trying to find CBD dominant flower to suddenly having a box of it, a USPS priority shipping box with mylar bags of all these different CBD dominant strains. So realistically, at that time, I don't think I wasn't seeing things correctly, right? I had beer goggles on. It was a fat chick who was a three, but she was looking like an eight at the time. All right, and I was just happy to have it. I should try who? Tweedle? I'm not spending no money on Tweedle. I've said that on the Discord. There was somebody on the Discord who kept telling me to review Tweedle, and I told him I'm not buying Tweedle flower. It's not gonna happen. I kept telling that dude, if you want me to try Tweedle, put up the funds for it, and I'll make a video on it. But And it's nothing against Tweedle. I don't want Tweedle to see this and think I'm like really trying to like throw shade at their business. It's nothing like that whatsoever. It's just, why 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 do it? It's just the simple fact that there's better out there. Let's check out the Tweedle website real quick. I'm not going to be on for very much longer, but let's check out the Tweedle website real quick. We're giving Tweedle a ton of free advertisement right now. Let's see, a bunch of edibles, chocolates. Oh, those are Eastport chocolates. Okay, shout out to Eastport. Eastport has a beautiful, beautiful farm, literally tucked into a little mountain valley. And they're surrounded by Bigfoot and mountain lions and deer and all types of critters. The very first thing when I went to Hemp Flower on Tweedle Farms, I'm not lying to you. I'll show you. The very first thing I see is Greenhouse Lifter, starting at $4.99 a gram. Hold on, can I flip the camera? Hold on. Oh, look at that. Look, this is the whole page. The very first listing, Lifter. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. I try to give him a chance. I try to give him a chance, but I got proved right immediately. I'm checking more out. I'm scrolling. All I see, though, I'll be honest. All I see is Oregon CBD and East Fork cultivar strains so far. So nothing Zaza, nothing gassy. I think the best thing I see so far is a tropical tempest, and that's not even gassy. That's just like it's just a modern version of like Oregon CBD, kind of ish. I would like to see that tropical tempest grown indoors. So I'll say that. Like if Type 3 grew some tropical tempest, I'm sure it wouldn't be. It would be all right. All right, but still, all right. I went to the next page: sour pineapple, pear blossom, forbidden V, uh, Canna Harley, Remedy. They have one generic Bubba Kush. They have the classic cookies from Zara Farms, which I don't know who grew this, but if it's from Horn Creek, everybody told me that it's very underwhelming from Horn Creek because I really like I was about to make that purchase for the classic cookies from Horn Creek. Everybody was like, it's not it's underwhelming. I'm on the final page of Flower, and this is literally white CBG, lifter, 6 strain sampler, special sauce, and sour space candy. So not even trolling, not even playing around. I accidentally just proved my point about Tweedle Farms. I had no intent on doing that, but as you see, Tweedle Farms, they sell nothing but industrial hemp. Like I imagine getting that 6 strain sampler. You get any random 6 strains they have, but almost they have what 1, 2, 3, 6, 12. They have like 25 different strains. Almost all of those are Oregon CBD and East Fork cultivar. I doubt they have anything left over from 2021. Let me just check the COA on this. This is from 2024. Let's see the sour space candy. 2024. That's all fresh. I wouldn't go as far as to say that Tweedle Farms is going to be selling like 4-year-old flour. I don't think they are that bad. Because listen, there's some truly bad companies, right? Like that do egregious stuff, like scam and lie and post fake reviews. And I don't mean like little trust pilot reviews on their website, but like have people take their time and go take pictures or make YouTube videos and stuff reviewing their stuff and just all manner like there's some bad Tweedle Farms is not a bad company. They just have bad product. Let's see the remedy. That's from last year. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have anything that's like years old. I'm pretty sure it would be advertised as such. I wouldn't expect it, and that's the kind of thing. That's why I said that's I'm when I talk about Tweedle, it's not because I think they're going to be selling like years old flour as modern. They're not a deceptive company or anything like that. That's not the issue. No, yeah, everything's fresh. I wasn't. I'm pretty sure they. I'm like they have small buds and shake and all that, and like some of this is probably older, and I'm sure they disclose that. So I've always said if Type Three grew out some sour space candy, I would smoke it. I would be all over it. It might not be like zip worthy or anything like that, but I'm sure he if he found one of those good purple phenos that are um, really musky and really sour, just those ones that's like really colorful. Because there was some good phenos of sour space candy that was super could look like Skittles. There's pinks and purples and oranges and greens, super sticky and lower on the terpenoline and just had that just real good Sprite, just a fruity sour McDonald's Sprite smell. I'd be down for some of that. Yeah, but you see, Tim, that's a sampler of like, why do I want a sampler of six varieties of bullshit? You know, like I'm gonna get like a pile of Angus bullshit, Texas Longhorn bullshit, Wagyu bullshit, Holstein bullshit. You know, we could go on. And again, I'm just talking about the strains, just the genetics. I'm not saying that like anything bad about Tweedle Farms as a company. I really have to stress that because there are some companies. Again, there are some companies out there like Black Tie, for example, that have done bad things to the community and are deceitful and dishonest and just should be avoided. There's a difference between a company that sells like really mid product and companies that do people dirty. Jesse said Bay Smokes. My brother had bought a lot from Bay Smokes. I'm sure my brother bought like a half pound from Bay Smokes before. Um, and I don't think he had many issues. But I mean, obviously, that's just one anecdotal experience. Tim said you need to try them, give them another chance. They have improved. They might have improved, but it's you don't understand. It's the strains. I do not. If I get a sampler pack and it's like Lifter and Hawaiian Haze and Blue Orchid and Forbidden V and some random CBG, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be angry. I'm gonna be angry that my mailman had to like put that in front of my door. That Fern Valley stuff, honestly, is the best THCA flower I've seen. That's looking like some straight up like dispensary weed from out here in LA. Um, so when people ask me about THCA right now, the Fern Valley. I got another THCA review coming up. It'll be one of my next videos. Um, and the flower on that is like it's good, but it's not nearly the value or quality of Fern. It's more expensive for not as good because the Fern Valley is cheap. All right, Brian, have a good night, man. Fern Valley is like their price is really low. Like they're selling their Type One flower for the same price people sell their Type Three flower. So no, Cerebus. I'm not talking about Fern Valley CBD flower. I'm talking about their Type One flower. Shabazz in law appearance. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Yak butter from Flow Gardens is my favorite. Right? Oh, yak butter is a pretty good strain. Uh, I say if you like that, you need to go try the lemon fade from Beliefer. If you like that deep diesel, that's what that yak butter is like a cheesy diesel kind of, and but the lemon fade from Beliefer is just a straight diesel. It's also a heavy indica. I definitely think you would like that. Oh, if my sister in law would help review the. No, I'm telling you, I'm gonna get Mrs. Shabazz on the camera one day. She'll do a THCA review. She might just charge me like a sponsor fee or something. I don't know. She's kind of hot, so I don't want people like stalking me and shit, like trying to get to my woman. Cherry Tootsie hits like a heavy diesel. If you're talking about from Stony Branch, then I can't corroborate that information. I can't. That's flag on the play. Now, Cherry Tootsie Pop in its own right was kind of it's a very the effects. It was a very potent, heavy, body strain. But if you any type of if you're talking about the smell at all, then no. It's Cherry Tootsie Pop has no diesel to it whatsoever. It smells like it literally smells like a Tootsie Pop, like that you rubbed in dirt. Stony Branch, um, their quality really dipped. Stony Branch, they went through like just that like the last 6 months is like everything everybody got from them just smelled like hay, literally. I'm not trying to be Alex B, but it literally like everything was just it was like uncured or I they I that's the best I imagine it was just uncured. or undercured, but severely undercured. So everybody stopped copying from them. Oh yeah, yeah. You got the big box from Type 3. I think Type 3 needs to do more of those. Maybe break that down though into like two or three big boxes though instead of one ginormous box. Um, yeah, yeah, cat shirts. That's what I mean. The lavender Kush. I didn't get any of that, but I don't need to. I have lavender Kush from Cowden, grown by Cowden, and I'm sure it's way better just based on what I hear about Stony. I'm sure it's way better. Everybody says the Stony stuff is just has no smell, no flavor. The cake batter Kush, I did a review on that one. If you didn't catch it, I did a full video on that one. So that was just the Kush cake from Hoku, and nobody has executed that strain besides Believer. Everybody who's put that out, it has been very very mid, including from Stony Branch. The only good Kush cake I've had was from Believer. He had the only one that actually smelled like wedding cake. But I don't even know if he still sells that though. Honestly, that was like 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, Stony used to be good, but it's like I don't know what happened. They stopped having any sort of quality control, and then they suddenly switched to THCA. So by the way, if you're on here and you're not in the Discord, you need to be in the Discord. Actually, and here's an incentive for you too. Just today, a new giveaway started on the Discord. Primary Jane is doing a giveaway on the Discord. They're giving away a bunch of stuff to multiple, two different winners. There's a first place winner and a second place winner. It's not a competition. It's just a random drawing, but you know what I mean. Um, yeah, Primary Jane. They just started a new giveaway today on the Discord, so you definitely want to go join the Discord and get in on that. Primary Jane has the fire. Let me see. I got where's my prime? Got some Primary Jane. See the Primary Jane. Um, Primary Jane is probably my absolute favorite um, CBD vape on the market right now. He says some Truffle Monkey 7. Whew. I mean, this is Truffle Monkey Evolved, right? So the very first Truffle Monkey, number 7 as well, I think, or was it the 10? One of the very first Truffle Monkeys. Like I said, when it first, when I first got it, freshly, not freshly harvested, but uh, I'll address that in a second. Remind me to reply to I want more. Anyway, fuck. Oh yeah. Okay. The truffle monkey on the first batch, I said it smelled like obese people. It had this body odor, this sweet, tangy, rancid body odor smell that really obese people. And I'm not talking about like your auntie who's 300 pounds. All right, I'm talking about like the people that are on my 600-pound life, morbidly obese people. Um, and bless their heart, but a lot of them have this certain smell that just like emanates I truly believe it's just from having so much fat in their bodies. You smell some of that fat come through their pores. It's a sweet. If you ever had pork lard, like to cook with, it's a smell. It smells similar to that. Obviously, with like this fruity gassiness. And this new truffle monkey, um, it's got all the same like really like yummy, fruity candy gas, but minus the obesity smell. Okay, and I wanted to reply to I want more cash because he said he don't like Primary Jane and that their cards have no effect on him. I don't know when's the last time you tried it, but I actually worked with Primary Jane into creating a new potency formula for their live resin and their carts. So all of their carts are a standard 1 to 10 ratio now. So the effects are much more pronounced. Like you could actually feel it. It's not going to get you high still, like a type 1 cart, but you will feel a buzz like if you just smoke some CBD flower, which is what I want it to be because um, CBD concentrates, they don't extract at the same ratio of flower. So like a lot of times you'll get like a CBD rosin or a live resin and it'll be like 70% CBD and only like 2% THC. So the THC multiplied, I mean, the CBD multiplied like 5 times, with the THC only multiplied like 3 times. And so when you have that skewed ratio, the CBD takes over. And so you feel even less of the effects. Because obviously, when you smoke CBD flower, a lot of the effects that you feel is the microdose of THC. And in CBD concentrates and hemp concentrates, you get even smaller of a microdose. And so I worked with the owner of Primary Jane into creating a formula that was still safe. Literally, this is what the goal was. It was that it would still be safe for THC sensitive people, but it would give enough of an effect that you don't got to sit there and puff on a cart and do blinkers over and over just to catch a tiny little buzz. Um, the whole goal was just to make it like as if you smoked a few hits or a half a joint or whatever of some CBD flower, and that's where it's at now with that 1 to 10 ratio. So like the current flavors are at like 50% CBD and like 5% THC. And I just saw the new batch he has coming out is 40% CBD and 4% THC, right around there. So uh, yeah, the look, and Primary Jane is he's one of the, obviously not everybody gets a chance to like get to know the owners or the employees of companies like I do, but there are some people who don't care about advancing their company if they're making money. And then there's other people who just don't care because they have egos and they think their shit is already good enough as it is. But then you have some people who all they're doing is constantly taking customer feedback and trying to make their product better. And Primary Jane, the owner of that company, he literally all he asks me is like, "Damn, do you have any suggestions for this? How can I make this better? How can we make this taste better? What are people saying about this?" And he literally takes what I tell him and adjusts his products the next batch. And to me, that really means a lot because like his number one priority is customer satisfaction. So I think that's dope. Neverwinter Botanicals, he also does that a lot. If you notice, he's always adjusting his ratios on the fog pods. That's because people will tell him like, "Yo, like like the fog pods they're kind of weak," or "Yo, this blend is clogging too much," and so he's like, "All right, bet." And so he creates the next batch, and that next batch is a little bit more potent. The blend is less prone to clogging, and so I like people like that. I like people that like care not just about the money, but making sure that when you buy from them, you're getting the best for your money. Clutch City had a number of different issues. Clutch City definitely, Clutch City definitely. I would say they had a bit of an ego though. They were kind of that. Like, speaking of Clutch City, look, I got a Clutch City jar right here. Clutch City definitely was like, I wouldn't say they're like flow gardens or anything where they're really like just buy us and fuck you, but they definitely were like kind of like I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for. Kind of up there on their high horse a little bit, and weren't really interested in any sort of constructive criticism. And that's not to say they weren't at all, because they still did pheno hunts, and they still were like, yo, like we're trying to, like what's the, how can we make this taste better and everything. But they were definitely more of a company that thought they had all the answers already. Yeah, I should be a paid consultant. I won't deny that. I absolutely should be a paid consultant. Um, I do give a lot of people a lot of free information. I'm not talking about you, the viewers, or the consumers. I'm talking about like farms and vendors. But that's just the type of person I am. I really care about like hemp and the hemp industry, so I want to see more companies in there and succeeding. So but I don't know. It's never been about the money for me. Never been about the money. I feel like once you make something about the money, it changes your it changes how people feel about you. You know what I mean? Um, and like I might deal with a company who's struggling to make sales, and I'm like, yo, you need to, I'm gonna put you in touch with Zoe Therapeutics so you could start growing his gear. And like, sure, I could charge money for that and be like, yeah, I could guarantee, your sales are gonna go up 50% with this next harvest if you, buy this. I'm gonna make the connections for you and buy this many clones and do this with it. But I don't know. Uh, I don't know. Then people are gonna just see me as like transactional. I don't want that, because okay. It's more to that. It's more to That's not my motivation behind this. I'm like the little old guy who sits there all day and makes like little model ships, goes out to the lake and like sails his little ships, and like he just enjoys doing it. Like I enjoy doing it. I want more cash. Said, didn't they steal a strain and rename it Shabazz? Uh, I don't think they stole any strain, but they did rename it. Like their last few drops that they did, their last few big drops were all renamed strains. They were all renamed strains. Um, and it got to the point where like at first Clutch City was coming to me and like, yo, what strain should we grow and this and that, and okay, what's popping here, and like, okay. And the very first thing that happened was like they took one strain and they're like, it's this strain, but we don't want to disclose exactly what strain it is to the public, but it's this. If you could help us come up with some names or whatever, I don't remember. And it went from that, and I was like, that's kind of whack, but it went from that to the next strains. They wouldn't even tell me what the actual genetics were, um, and just straight up rename shit. People don't like that. So I ran out of cones. I'm sitting here playing with this truffle monkey, and I ran out of cones. Damn. Here's a problem. I ran out of cones. My purple glass tip is already clogged. This one is completely clogged. I have two of these Kovacs glass tips. That's completely. I'm gonna have to. Let me see. I wasn't even trying to smoke like a fatty either. That's why it's funny because when I'm alone, I don't like getting a heavy buzz because um, I think a lot. But when I'm feeling lonely, I like to smoke a lot. So it's like a catch 22. It's like when I'm feeling lonely, you know just rolling up and smoking is just like something to do. Oh, there we go. I'll vaporize it. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Um, yeah, I need something to do, and so I smoke. But then it's like when I'm all alone smoking, and it's like fuck, I overthink. No, I'm gonna hit some truffle monkey in the crafty. I'm letting that heat up. I got the Lobo right here. Look at this. Look at these papers I got. Oh, I think I've shown these, but this is a real pack of raw papers, by the way. There's like a dozen foot long rolling papers in there. I don't know how. Yeah, they're 12 inch. I'm not sure how many grams they hold. I think these hold like an ounce of flour, something crazy like that. I also have my ball vape right here, but I haven't been using my ball vape the last like week or two because my desk is so crowded. Um, it will legitimately set something on fire if I turn on the ball vape. So, because that's what I would have done with this truffle monkey. Yeah, but you know what, more cash? When you vaporize it, you get a lot of flavor, but you don't. You have to combust and vaporize to get the full flavor of any given strain. Because like I'm hitting this in the crafty, right? I've already smoked it, so I know what it tastes like in the smoke. I'm getting different notes that I didn't get in the smoke in the crafty, but I also get notes in the smoke that I don't get in the crafty. That vaporizer throat tickle, it hits me like right here. That's why the ball vape fucks me up because that tickle happens even with the crafty, and on the ball vape, that's like times 100. Yeah, if you vaporize everything, I say even if you're primarily just a person that vapes, I definitely recommend trying everything at least one time in a joint. At least one. If you have a favorite strain vaping, you never combusted it, try it in a joint one time. Buy a pack of raw cones. They have like a 20 pack of raw cones on Amazon. It's like $11. Buy that and just have it there. Whenever you get a new strain, just smoke one joint of it. And then you can vape all the rest. But you got to smoke one joint of it though, so that you can understand the full flavor spectrum that it has. Because you're not going to get it just from vaping or just from combusting. Also, the effects. You're going to miss out on some of the effects too with vaping. Obviously, when you vaporize, you get super clear headed effects of whatever it is that you're smoking. But when or whatever it is that you're vaping. But when you smoke something though, um, you get more of, you know, it's just less clear headed. Okay, he said. Okay, Jesse said joints versus bong for flavor. Look, when it comes to combusting, nothing is going to give you flavor like a joint. When it comes to combustion, joint is supreme. All right, that is the best flavor you're going to get. And you want to know why? The science behind a joint. Do I? Oh, I have one king size in here. I wouldn't roll a king size anyway right now. Okay, look. So here's a king size joint. It's a cone, and it's like a funnel, a vortex type of a thing. You have all your flour in here, and you pack a joint tight. You have your cherry here. When you inhale on that cherry in a joint, because it's packed so tight, you get superheated air that passes through all this flour before it hits your mouth. And what that does is it literally vaporizes as it combusts. So when you smoke in a joint, not only are you getting the flavor of the combustive flour, but you are getting a small amount of vapor in there as well from the super hot air from the cherry vaporizing the flour directly behind it when you inhale. That doesn't happen in a blunt or anything else because you don't have the uh, almost like the vacuum that a joint has. He said raw cones don't ship to your house. Have you tried on Amazon or you know what? If they won't ship to you on Amazon, they will absolutely ship to you on eBay. I could guarantee you that. Because, for example, my brother, um, they won't ship blunt wraps to Illinois on Amazon, but on eBay, you could ship tobacco products to anywhere on eBay because it's private sellers and they don't give a fuck. They don't give a damn what state you're in. So I recommend go get a tin of raw cones and taste everything in a cone at least once. And this is how you know if you're getting a real authentic raw, right? Authentic raw cones have paper straws in them. If you ever get a raw cone and it's got a plastic straw in it, it's counterfeit. All right. So when you look at the listing, you go on eBay and you look at the raw cones and shit. Make sure in the pictures, make sure it has a paper slash little cardboard straws in the middle, and not plastic. Amazon sells meth pipes if you look hard enough. Yeah, Amazon got pookies. They take the listings down here and there, but you can find Pookies on there. You can find all types of ones. But yeah, no, Amazon's official stance is no CBD. You can sell hemp oil, but it has to be hemp seed oil. No cannabinoid. Um, Even though I have seen listings snuck in from time to time. Same thing on Etsy. People be sneaking in CBD flower and shit on Etsy. Same thing on eBay too. People be sneaking in CBD flower as like industrial hemp material, but it'll be like industrial hemp material Hawaiian haze. An ounce for like $40. Yeah. So yeah, they sold the switches. Uh, if anybody plays battle royale casual on Warzone, I be playing that pretty heavy. I play a little bit of multiplayer and zombies too. Um, Not all the time am I looking for people to join me, but sometimes I am. So hit me up on Instagram with your what is it, the player ID or whatever it is, your Activision thing, to add people on Black Ops 6 or Warzone. Um, Hit me with that. Um, what else am I gonna say? Make sure you join the Discord. Make sure you go join my Instagram. Instagram deleted my old Instagram a couple months ago. I had to start all over again. But that's it. At this point in time, I'm pretty much done talking. I'm tired of talking. You ever be kicking it with people and you just like you're having a good time and nothing's irritating you. You're just tired of having conversations. And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go home. I'm kind of at that point. Nothing's wrong. I'm just kind of tired of talking. Um, y'all seen how Shador Sanders though? You see how they did him? They had to teach him a lesson though. That's all because his dad though. Mostly because his dad. Part of it is because he likes to wear chains and shit, and so like the general managers of the NFL. Anyways, that's a whole thing. But I never seen somebody so happy to get drafted by the Cleveland Browns before. But hey, good for him though. I'm glad. You know, glad a black man has made a career and is going to get paid for what he likes to do and everything. Anyways, yeah, y'all hit me up on Instagram or Discord with your gamer tags for some Warzone or some Black Ops 6 zombies or multiplayer. Make sure that you add my Instagram. Make sure you join that Discord. Remember, Primary Jane just announced a new giveaway today. That's going to go for a week or two, and then a couple winners will be picked off that. Um, yeah. Hit up my Patreon. You wanna help out. You want to help out the channel. You can join my Patreon. It's a good way to help out the channel. Besides that, though, I hope everybody has a good night. Um, I'm gonna get off of this. All right, so it's already past midnight in some places. So yeah, I hope everybody has a good night. Um, Hope everybody's smoking good. Hope you're healthy. Hope you're happy. All that. Make sure you get an oil change if you're due for one on your car. Everybody go to the dentist. If you haven't been to the dentist in the last 12 months, go to the dentist. There's heart and circulation problems that are directly linked to bad oral health. So everybody take vitamins. All right. Anyways, I'm off this. All right, Tony. See you on Discord. See everybody wherever. All right. Have a good night.